Alright, I think we're live and hopefully able to do this the right way this time. So, welcome to Sunday SubDays, live stream where I'm going to be walking through some of the parts of submitting your poetry, essays, short stories, and other creative writing or visual art. Kind of after it's done, what do you do with it? There's a lot of amazing independent literary magazines out there. Quibble is one that I started back in 2022. And we're coming on 4 years. We've been in print for 2, which has been an amazing experience. I've gotten to learn a lot, try a lot of new hats on, and slowly start growing a team, which has been the best part because it's gotten better, as well as it being bigger than just myself. So for this stream, I'm going to be first walking through a few parts of sending out 2 or 3 submissions. At 5:15, I've got a little Q&A with a friend of mine, Zuri McWhorter, who is the editor and founder of Juste Milieu zine. Sorry. But anyways, let's just get into it. Up on my browser right now, I've got Chill Subs, which, big fan of Chill Subs. I'm not sure exactly how long they've been around, but I know that they've taken a very data and number crunchy approach to kind of coalescing this whole ecology of the literary landscape and trying to provide transparency and accessibility to both the publishers as well as the writers and artists. So if you're looking for places, that would be my first recommendation. Though Submittable is also wonderful, and the first place that I really got started. Try signing in here. Make sure I'm signing into the right one, because I do have. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm on my personal one. So Submittable up in Discover is a great place for you to kind of sort and search through opportunities that would apply to you. You can see that there's different tags that you can kind of qualify or try to, find what you're looking for. This is, kind of the foundation that has allowed Quibble to grow. Back when I first started it 4 years ago, I had very little idea what I was doing, but was trying to get some jobs with freelancing, was trying to send my own writing out, and then was bored and fed up not finding opportunity. Decided to try and offer some, and needed to make 2 issues happen to be kind of a proof of concept in order to be accredited by the community of literary magazines and presses. For those first 2 issues, I commissioned through Upwork individual pieces. It was pretty costly, but a good way to get started, and Submittable's been the ecosystem that's really allowed us to thrive. They're a wonderful resource. I put an asterisk slightly just towards their being, oh, I'm sorry, I got Zuri jumping in the meeting.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, how's it going?
Can you see me?
I cannot see you. And no worries on that. Actually going to... Oh, isn't tech so fun? Hello, how's it going? And then... Oh, that's why it's just minimized. Just so that I don't have any, audio echo or feedback. Oh, wait. I'm sorry, I realized I just muted myself. Which I will do again, Zuri, just in case I have any feedback. But thanks for hopping on, and we'll get you on in about 10 minutes or so.
Everything's working. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Okay, cool. I sure can. Just gonna make sure this looks presentable behind me.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. I'm gonna put myself on mute
Cool.
and then I'll be back with you shortly. Sweet.
Got it.
Um, and alright, so yeah, Submittable is kind of the go-to place. I was going to say the one thing that I'd be mindful of is that it's probably the biggest, I don't know if it's true, but maybe saturated might be the word for it. I found that sometimes, for instance, if you're a writer like myself, sending it on a budget, and you're looking for no fee submissions, you oftentimes want to make sure to go fully through and kind of go through their sign up or registration form. Sometimes there's a required tip or payment at the end. So chill subs in general, I've not submitted as much work through there, but I found that they oftentimes have a lot more nuanced kind of information. Also, so sorry everybody, as I am still figuring out the logistics and technicalities of doing this. I think that everything's working, but I also just realized we probably have some feedback maybe from the Zoom. But part of this whole project is kind of not being too scared to start something even before I've gotten it all figured out. So we're learning together as we go a little bit, but similar to Submittable, Chill Subs has a lot of the same functions that will allow you to kind of filter and search based on what you're looking for. You can select by genre, you can select by no fee, if it pays. Something I wanted to mention, and I think I've mentioned this in my first two kind of iterations of this pilot episode of Sunday SubDays, but the Chill Subs Sub Club Substack is a wonderful weekly newsletter. Since I cannot find it and I'm being mindful of time, I'm going to be including a little link of a list of links for some of the different literary magazines and markets and places to look for. So I'll make sure to include a link for Subclub. It's a really great weekly resource, not only just showing places to submit your work, but different like agents to query or specialties. If you've got a niche, markets to kind of shop your stuff around for. So, anyways, I have today selected 3 different publications, maybe just 2 actually. And I sourced both of these through the Subclub weekly email. I should say briefly, another great place to find calls for submissions would be Instagram or social media. A lot of literary magazines are trying their best to get quality submissions in, so searching by hashtag call for submissions is another good way, especially if you're an emerging writer. There's a lot of emerging lit mags don't have such volume to choose from and might not be on the bigger platforms yet. So Orange Blossom Review I found, and I think it's really beautiful, elegant design. Would always recommend, before just blindly submitting through one of these opportunities, that you take some time to kind of flavor and with intent get to know what you're trying to be a part of. There's kind of a churn out approach, and sometimes as a creative I feel we might just need to get a notch. There's nothing wrong with that, but generally the more attention you give towards your submission, the better chance it's going to have. But most importantly, I would say, is always being mindful of submission guidelines as well. So oftentimes that's really important so that you can make sure that you aren't automatically disqualifying yourself. So did a little bit of research ahead of the stream to make sure that these would be good for me to submit to. So for poetry is what I'm going to be sharing today. And on that note, for this stream, for most of my submissions, I think that I'm going to keep the poetry anonymous. Part of that is to protect the interests of prospective publishers so that they get the whole debut. But the other aspect, or further down the line, I might take a draft and try working through it so I can show some of my own work and kind of show what I feel might make something more submission ready. I think a lot of poetry and a lot of writing is writing done over, and sometimes it takes several attempts. So the 3 poems that I'm putting out today I feel decent about, but I can always improve, and the way there is to put it out. So anyways, I've got an Orange Blossom review up to their submittable page where they kind of have their forum. For example, a good point of checking guidelines is to make sure if they have any like title restrictions. Some editorial teams work blind, so including your name in a title, for instance, could be automatic grounds for disqualification. Making sure that you adhere to all guidelines is really important, just because oftentimes these platforms have such a volume of submissions. It's kind of an easy preference if you don't line it up as they ask for. So let me control find and see if there's any title restrictions. I'm gonna just name it 3 poems GS. And got my document here that I've got ready. Gonna make sure that it's not just the generalized editors. This is surely a trick that, many people work from, is trying to have some kind of template or standard boilerplate, tool that you can kind of rework. Like I said, trying to show some attention goes a long way. So I'm gonna make sure to say something about their design. Doesn't have to be anything crazy, just, a little bit about yourself and a little bit of the purpose of what you're writing for. And go ahead and get that there. Make sure to include a short biographical statement. If you guys hear any scratching at the door, my cats are crazy and demand to sit in my lap, so they're a little upset. And we'll go ahead and send it out. So, nice and easy, especially for some of these no-fee ones. There's oftentimes not too much to it, but it's very important that you put your due diligence into getting it together so that you respect their time. This is usually a labor done out of passion and not for profit. So giving some recognition and appreciation is really important. Anyways, now I'm going to try shifting over to asking my friend Zuri some questions. She's been very patient with me. And Yeah. Zuri, are you with me? All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I sure can.
All right. And I just want to double check. I think. All right. And I think I've got the audio working through your end as needed, I hope. Um, First, I mean, thank you so much. You've been really patient. We were supposed to do this first 2 weeks ago, and then,
Yeah.
I kind of had to pull the rug, minute of. Speaking of rug, the one that you have in your kitchen, I think I had in my room here, like, until a day ago. um,
Okay.
yeah, but, Zuri, we probably worked together about a year. Do you remember when you got involved with Quibble?
I remember it was still cold outside. I think maybe
Okay.
March of last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember being immediately impressed with your interest in being involved because it seemed like you had already gotten a lot going for yourself with Juste Milieu, as well as you'd read for a couple of other organizations. How long do you, well, kind of very broad, but when would you say writing started for you at all? Like, when did you?
Yeah. When did I like write my first piece and realize it was a piece of writing and not just some scribbles? I'd say I was probably like 3 or 4 years old.
Okay.
I was writing little poems. I was writing, it was reminiscent of Dr. Seuss and Shel Silverstein. And when you're that small, you don't know much, so you write about your mom or your dad or something. So I wrote a poem about my mom, and I say I start, and then let's fast forward to probably high school is when I really realized that I'm artistic in a way that is more fun to me on paper because I was playing in an orchestra and I was running track and I was in a film club and I was doing all this stuff, but writing, creative writing, really solidified itself for me around 11th grade. And that's when I like taught myself how to write a play and screenplays, and then I went to writing camp. And
Oh,
I
nice.
came back. Yeah, I went up to
So
Interlochen
lifelong though.
Experience. Yeah.
That's it, because I can
So
relate about 11th grade is kind of right around when I I don't know, started trying or paying attention in a way, but did not have that
right.
direct.
Yeah, I think they do that on purpose. Like they build the curriculum so that they'll put some really good stuff in around your junior and senior year so that you could go into college with a little more sense.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair enough. It would probably be good to do earlier too, but I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
Well, what about just Malou started in 2017? How,
Hmm.
how did that come about?
So yeah, it was a venture that came about me getting a lot of rejection notices for my writing, and I was just sort of sick of that. And before I realized what I was doing, I was making a zine.
Hmm.
People that I knew, like I knew people who were also tired of getting rejection letters, all over the country. And
Hmm.
because of Instagram was becoming really popular, and it was starting to, the algorithm was still very much, hey, I like this kind of stuff. Show me this kind of stuff. So when I decided to put it all together and make it sort of more open submission, because that really wasn't, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just,
Hmm.
I was like, I know how to, because I was in the yearbook in high school. So I was like, I know how to lay out things. Let me see if I can lay out something.
Okay.
And that became Juste Milieu. So I'll say with the help of Instagram, the old Instagram, and just some really good friends who were also fed up, Juste Milieu came to be.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan, and especially that kind of grassroots approach is really cool. I think I spelled it wrong. So is it mostly people you said across the country, not just in your immediate area?
Yeah, at that point, The first one, because I was so impressed with how many people were sending me things, and then the stuff they were sending me was impressive. I was making a point to credit where people were from,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes the people who are featured could be making or feeling the same way and expressing it in a way, and you'll just be like, I can't believe there's a guy in Germany that feels how I feel as a black girl in Detroit. You never know. So
Yeah.
that's really why I kind of focus on where people are from. And for the most part, anybody who's submitting kind of knows that, and they don't really have a problem. But some people have kind of been like, I just want to stay anonymous and ethereal, and I don't want anybody to know where I am. And I'm like, that's cool too. You can just be on Earth. That's fine. So the first few I would say were much smaller and did kind of just focus on people that I knew, whether it was in Michigan or like Portland, because I lived there for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I have friends in all sorts of places. So, but as it got old, as it grew,
Mm-hmm.
I realized that a lot of word of mouth submissions were happening as well. It wasn't just the Instagram ads or the go to my website you see, or you type in poetry submissions on Google. People were telling other people about my magazine, and I was like, this is very cool. I'm really
Yeah.
glad it's resonating.
That seems really organic. Like, I am very bad about self-representing and talking my stuff to people. So like Quibble,
Yeah.
especially in the inception, was like something that I was like, how am I gonna get people to know about this? I'm kind of embarrassed until it's going. So I leaned hard onto social media, which I feel like is what people feel like they have to do. But it's cool that
Mhm.
you're proof that it's
I
not.
don't, yeah, right. So like even when it first started, because I started in 2017, I had just moved back from Portland, and I was just trying to be as creative as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the middle of the summer, spring, and I would just go out and get stickers printed and stick them on stuff, and Juste Milieu this and justemilieu.com. And I got a lot of traffic that way. Guerrilla marketing is still very much, well, it was, and I'm sure it still is, but
Mm-hmm.
it was a big part of how I got a lot of submissions as well, just in the immediate area, like Detroit, um, college campuses, over by bars. Writers and artists love to go to the libations. So
Yeah.
it's just a bit, I think that because of where I am, I have a leg up because it is kind of cosmopolitan, but in a way, it's still gritty, and you find a lot of very interesting stuff come out of these people who live here.
On the That's a great segue of the libations, the gastro art. I did not see this until just now. That's such a cool idea. So this is your first one doing it.
I haven't been getting any submissions for the gastro art.
Hmm.
And really, all I want to really do is if there's someone who has created a dish or um, a drink of
Hmm.
some sort, and let's say you don't list out the full recipe, you can, but this is like what I think of when I hear gastro art. You send me a recipe, I pair you with an artist who can draw a drawing of the thing you made, and
Okay.
then that goes into the magazine. But from there, it can expand into a full, you know, photo series of food. It could be a full recipe. It could be an article about something that
Yeah.
is about food. Food is very important to me, and I think it was issue 15 or 16. That was the food issue, and that one was so cool. That might be my favorite one.
Hmm.
And I'm just food is if I wasn't a writer and whatever else that I do, I would be a chef.
Yeah. Okay.
Food is very important to me.
Yeah, no, that's very much in my wheelhouse. I did like 11 years serving and bartending, and like after a while, I was
Mhm.
like, oh, like I actually really appreciate this, and like kind of an aspect that I don't think I would have gotten otherwise. I was not like a
Yeah,
foodie by blood, but one day I opened my eyes and I was like, oh yeah, definitely. Um,
exactly. Yeah, it should definitely happen that way. It really
I
should.
think that's such a neat idea though, and I'd like the innovative angle. It's definitely different.
I definitely want to take some time to make an offshoot of Juice Malou and make it just food based. Like just have a food based arts and Like that'll be the theme every time. It's just food.
Yeah, that's neat. Is there what's the frequency of publishing that you kind of go for?
I was doing it when it was smaller. Like let's say I was getting 20 submissions,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just accepting everything. For the first few years, it was probably every maybe twice, maybe 3 times a year, but definitely twice. Now I'm down to once, and
Nice.
that is only because I'm doing a lot of other stuff. But since I'm taking a break from all that other stuff, I want to get something, if not specifically Juste Milieu, because this next issue will be the 20th one, and if I can get that one out this year, that'll be 2 this year. So I think I'll do that. I'm gonna try to get issue 20 out in the fall.
Are you accepting submissions currently, or?
Not currently, because I don't know if I want to make it an anthology or just an issue 20.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm always trying to figure out if I'm trying to be sentimental or not.
Well, well, it sounds like we need to get you some gastro art, so hopefully someone out there hears that.
Yeah.
Because
I think, you know what, maybe issue 20 will just be another food issue. Why not?
Yeah, like harvests you
The
could
photos I got were crazy. It was just, it was just so good.
do. Well, I'm coming up on 5:30, and I don't want to try to keep it within that 30 minutes. But I think that's really cool, honestly, to like take a step back and allow however it needs to be so that it can keep being. Like, when you started it and didn't know what you were doing, and it was twice a year, I can totally relate. I mean, Quibble was bi-monthly online for the first 4, 5, 6 issues, and then it kind of got bigger and harder to produce, and then life. So, like, I think it's cool that you.
Yeah, it's like, it's always happening. I'm always doing it, and I never beat myself up about how long it takes. And it's also just helps me figure out what I'm looking for.
Uh-huh.
And we can end it there, but like I'm always just looking for the stuff that you think no one else wants. I would like it to be polished. I get a lot of students that are like, "Oh, I know this is your first draft, and that's fine, but let's try to." Because I've been in academia for 4 semesters straight, and I'm kind of like, it's been beaten to my head to at least go over this a few times, please. So I'm not too strict about a lot of stuff. Genre doesn't bother me. I'm kind of liking scary stuff lately. The creepier, the better for some reason. Not all the time, but yeah.
A little under your skin, kind of.
Yeah, make me think about it months and months later. And that's why reading that Coffin Bill was really cool. I got to it was horror based, so everything we read was scary all the time. But some stuff was much scarier than others. So yeah, just send me whatever you think is great. And this is art wise. And I do like that the art can be a little less polished than the writing. I will say that. I'm not so much a snob about the art. It can be some sketches.
I mean, I'm really like the work that you've got on your website is amazing, and I think it's really fantastic. Like a one-person operation, and like just by whatever means possible to continue to do it takes a lot of dedication. So especially while you're doing a lot of other things. I got one last question for you, which might be a thinker if it's not, or if it is, I don't know. What's something you've loved that you've learned that you wish you learned a little earlier? Could be about publishing or writing.
I will say, and I've said this a few times in the last few months, I wish I had known better balance of how my brain works. I realized that being creative and using my imagination too much makes me sad and like takes me out of the world, and I be puts me way too far into the world. I don't know which way it is, but I realized that like majoring in English and minoring in creative writing is making me a little too imaginative, and I need to balance that because I'm not able to do both parts. Like with Juste Milieu, I always put my own work in there too, but I'm doing layout, and that is there's also logical. You have to be able to balance out and not get lost in what's up here. So I added some psychology, I added some anthropology, and then when you do stuff like that, it makes your writing better. It makes your brain connect two sides, and then like my brain has been blown for just months, and I'm tired in a very good way. But if I had it, like I feel like being creative was just me kind of being a rebel. Like I was trying to be a rebel without a cause. Like I'm just gonna be artistic and not necessarily a hippie, but everything I do is gonna be ethereal and have meaning. And it's like sometimes you just gotta screw with the light bulb.
Right. Take the like persona off, or
Exactly.
I can relate. And I think a lot of writerly types like just very analytical and gotta live and get out of your head sometimes instead of thinking what the next right thing to do is or how this could be better. It's like just
Exactly.
enjoy it.
I just think people should just recognize having balance is perfectly fine. You don't have to lean one way or the other.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Zuri. I really appreciate it. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I hope that we get you a lot of gastro art. And I'll make sure to send you over whatever I can. So,
please do. That would be great to have you in Juste Milieu.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm gonna hit the end stream button and see what happens. Thank you, guys.